For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies,
for the love which from our birth over and around us lies.
Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight,
for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight.
Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
For the wonder of each hour of the day and of the night,
hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and sun's delight.
Source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child,
For the kinship we all share, for all gentle thoughts and mild.
source of all, to thee we raise this our hymn of grateful praise.
Good morning, everyone. And I am the Reverend Susan Suchocki Brown. I am the Transitions Minister here with you at South Church. So delighted to be here this morning for this worship service as we get ready to enter the holiday season and the Thanksgiving week. We're glad that you could be with us, whether you are new or keep coming back. We want you to know that we know that you're out there. You can always be in touch with us. We're thinking of you. And worship doesn't happen without a lot of people being part of it. And the worship associates that I have the honor of working with help to make sure that the worship is well done and well crafted. And they share their experiences and words with us. And I'm always so delighted to work with them. And this morning, I have the pleasure of working with Laurie Bilby. Laurie, will you tell us about the rest of worship and the rest of the players? And good morning to you.
And good morning to you, Reverend Susan. Sure, I'd be happy to. Worship this morning is featuring Reverend Susan in the pulpit, which is always a treat for us. I am a team of worship associates who does work with our minister and with our guest ministers to bring worship every Sunday morning, and it is our great joy and pleasure to do so. We also get to work with our musicians, including this morning's music, which is being brought by our Director of Music Ministry, Joanne Connolly, and our beloved South Church folk. And Joanne Piazzi, one of our favorite storytellers, will be bringing the story for all ages. So it's going to be a great service. Pour that extra cup of coffee, sit back and enjoy. Our thanks, as always, go to Jen Leyden, Kirsten Hunter, and Pip Clues for being the technical brains behind our being able to do this virtual worship.
Good morning. Let worship begin.
The South Church Spiritual Book Group is hosting a discussion of The Reader by Bernard Schlink on Wednesday, December 9th at 7 p.m. All are welcome. Please contact southchurchbookgroup@gmail.com for more information and for the Zoom link. And the annual Giving Garland is back this year. From now through December 20th, we are collecting gift cards for gas, clothes, food, and entertainment to donate to local community organizations such as Crossroads House, Women Aid, and Families First. These organizations will then give out the gift cards to families in need. Gift cards can be dropped off or mailed to 73 Court Street, or dropped off in our mailbox or during office hours. And we are really hoping to hear you sing soon. Once a month, we will be featuring a guest congregant singing "Oh, We Give Thanks" to use in our worship service. You can sing alone, with a friend, or with your entire family. Email Joanne, our music director, at joannasing@aol.com to sign up for a date. You'll have fun singing, and we'll enjoy seeing and hearing you at an upcoming worship service. And now, an announcement from your search committee.
Oh, I was just looking out there for a new minister. I wonder if I'll recognize them when I see them. I'm Joanne Piazzi, and I'm here this morning with an announcement and an invitation from the Ministerial Search Committee. When we think of our ideal minister, a distinct image may come to mind. What's that person's identity, gender, nationality, physical or cognitive ability, their age, their race, their sexual orientation? With our own picture in place, it can be easy to unintentionally exclude those who fall into other categories. At times, we may get caught up in comparing candidates to our picture and even forget what it was that we hoped for in a minister. On Saturday, December 5th, South Church will participate in the Beyond Categorical Thinking workshop offered by the Unitarian Universalist Association for congregations who are in search for a new minister. The South Church Search Committee invites all members and friends of the congregation to join members of the committee and the Board of Trustees to participate in this virtual workshop led by UUA facilitator Keith Crone. The Beyond Categorical Thinking program is designed to promote inclusive thinking and help prevent unfair discrimination in the hiring process. The program includes the 3-hour Saturday workshop and a Sunday morning service with our facilitator from the UUA. South Church members will consider the hopes, expectations, and concerns they have for a new minister, learn more about the search process, and explore how thinking categorically about people sometimes interferes with choosing the best candidate. Please plan to join us on Saturday, December 5th, beginning at 9:30 a.m. The 3-hour workshop is broken up into 2 sessions with a lunch break and will end at 2 p.m. Be watching your email and future announcements for how to register. Thanks. Now back to my search.
Now I walk in beauty. Beauty is before me. Beauty is behind me, above and below me. Now I walk in beauty. Beauty is before me. Beauty is behind me, above and below me. Now I walk in beauty. Beauty is before me. Beauty is behind me, above and below me.
Like so many people in our country, and even a few in this UU congregation, I grew up on the Bible. In his first letter to the new Christian converts of Thessalonica in northern Greece, the Apostle Paul instructed, in all things, give thanks. Now, I am not a natural optimist. I totally envy those who are. But I am often sustained by knowing that in all things, there's almost always something I can be grateful for. Right now, in this season, in the chaotic aftermath of our national election, in the terrifying and infuriating wave of COVID infections and hospitalizations and deaths, in this week of my late wife's birthday and the 5th anniversary of her death, in her favorite holiday, which was Thanksgiving, and in the face of this very different Thanksgiving, and in the short days and in the long nights, well, it's fair to say that my feelings of gratitude are not as expansive as they sometimes are, as I would like them to be. I know that I am not alone in teetering on the edge of depression at times. Holidays can always be hard. Grief can always flare. Being on the eastern edge of Eastern Standard Time is challenging. And this year, this 2020, is so much more. Still, I try to think about what I truly am grateful for. Not a rote laundry list, like we used to do at our Thanksgiving tables in my nuclear family, but the deep down stuff. If it's not authentic, it doesn't serve me. I am grateful to have a variety of work that is not much affected by this pandemic. I am grateful that Jane and I have had an opportunity to spend some extended time together this fall. I am grateful to live in a beautiful part of the world, in comfort and in ease. I'm grateful for my dog and his mostly unjudgmental devotion and reliable presence. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve this congregation in chairing this year's annual budget campaign, and am grateful for all who have responded so generously to our extraordinary call for a significant increase in our operating budget. I'm grateful for the opportunity to practice faith in our congregation as we wait and work for the remaining $90,000 to come in. I am grateful for our commitment to one another and to our mission. I am grateful for you, that you keep showing up again and again in whatever ways are available to us. I hope the list of things that you are grateful for is long, is growing, and is a place you choose to visit often in these days. The global chalice lighting for the month of November from the International Council of Unitarians and Universalists was offered by lay leader Daniel Faria in his first language of Portuguese. Here's a translation to English. We light this chalice as a symbol of faith, hope, and love. To face the shadows, a chalice of light. To face inequity, a chalice of justice. To face falsehood, a chalice of truth. To face evil, a chalice of goodness. To face disharmony, a chalice of beauty. May your brightness, manifestation of the infinite light, bless our hearts, our spirits, and our lives. Please join me in reciting our mission statement together. At South Church, we nurture spiritual growth through worship, learning, and community. We celebrate the worth and dignity of all people, and we inspire one another to act on our faith in the larger community.
we gather together to join in the journey, confirming, committing hope, passage to be a true affirmation in joy and tribulation, when bound to human care and hope, then we are free.
Good morning. Today I have a story for you. It's about Band-Aids. Do you like Band-Aids as much as I do? I have these. Band-Aids seem to have magical powers, don't they? If you scrape your elbow, or you have a splinter removed, or you get a shot from the doctor, a Band-Aid might be just what you need to keep your skin clean while it heals. But if you have something like a fever or tonsillitis, you're going to need more than a Band-Aid. You might need actual medicine to help with that healing. In today's story, see if you can tell what is the Band-Aid and what is the medicine. Once there was a girl named Sammy. For her 11th birthday, her parents said that she could have a sleepover party. See, this was in the before time. So Sammy invited her 4 best friends and her sister Brooke, who was 9 years old. The girls had a great time watching movies and eating snacks and dancing, and then they all got into their PJs and unrolled their sleeping bags. Because there was only one bed in Sammy's room, they decided that they would all sleep together on the floor. It was all kind of squishy, but they managed to squish themselves around, and after a lot of poking and giggling, they all had enough room and were all comfy. And just as Sammy was turning out the light, she noticed that her friend Sky was hugging a stuffed animal. "Do you still sleep with a teddy bear?" she asked. "Yeah," said Sky. "I hope you don't think I'm a baby." "No, of course not," said Sammy. "That's fine. Sometimes Brooke still wets the bed, and she's 9. It got very quiet in the room. No one said anything, but Brooke could hear the other girls sliding their sleeping bags away from her in the dark. She couldn't believe that Sammy would tell her friends that. She couldn't go to sleep. She just knew that what the girls were thinking about her, and that they were going to go and tell their other friends, and pretty soon everybody in school would know that she was a bedwetter. When it seemed that the others were all asleep, Brooke got up and took her sleeping bag and her pillow and went into her own room and cried herself to sleep. The next morning, when the girls woke up, they had breakfast, and their parents came to get them, but Brooke still hadn't come out of her room. Their mother said that Brooke said she had a tummy ache, and they imagined that it was because of all the snacks they had eaten the night before. But Brooke didn't come out of her room all day. Sammy went in once to ask her if she wanted to play a card game. But Brooke wouldn't even look at her or talk to her. She just turned away. Sammy went back to her room and thought about why Brooke might be so upset. And then she remembered what she had said. She was just trying to make Sky feel better, and she ended up hurting Brooke's feelings. The next morning, they both got up and got ready for school. Brooke still wouldn't talk to Sammy. Sammy saw that both of their lunch boxes were sitting on the counter and decided that she would put a note into Brooke's lunchbox. Sometimes their mother did that. So she got a sticky note and she drew a smiley face on it, and she put it in Brooke's lunchbox. She was hoping that that was going to make Brooke feel better. When they got off the bus that afternoon, Sammy asked Brooke if she wanted to go for a bike ride. "No," was all that Brooke said, and she went into her room. The next morning, Sammy tried again. She got one of her sparkly unicorn sticky notes, and she drew a smiley face on it and put it in Brooke's lunchbox. But that afternoon, she got the same reaction from her. Brooke was still mad. Sammy knew that the sticky notes weren't helping. She was going to have to do something else. She paced around outside of Brooke's door for a while, and then she knocked. "What do you want?" asked Brooke. Sammy opened the door a little bit. "I want to tell you something," she said. She went in and sat down on the floor next to where Brooke was lying on her bed. This was hard. She tried again. "I'm sorry," she said. Brooke started to cry. "Why did you do that? Why did you tell their friends that I wet the bed? They all think I'm a baby and that I smell," and then she was crying so hard she couldn't even talk anymore. Again, Sammy said, I'm sorry. I was trying to make Sky feel better and I didn't realize that it was going to embarrass you. It's not a big deal to me. Well, it's a big deal to me, said Brooke. You're not the bedwetter. Would you want all your friends to know that about you? No, I guess not, admitted Sammy. I didn't think about how that must feel. I'm really, really sorry. Has anyone said anything to you about it? No, admitted Brooke. Well, see, said Sammy, my friends are smarter than I am. Well, no duh, said Brooke, and they both laughed. And that felt really, really good. Come on, let's go for a bike ride. And that's what they did. So did you figure it out? What was the Band-Aid? And what was the medicine? Sammy thought that the sticky notes were going to help Brooke feel better. But that wasn't enough to make the hurt go away. This case needed some actual medicine, in the form of an apology. It didn't take away what Sammy had done, but it did help heal the wound. An apology is pretty powerful medicine, and you have to be brave in order to use it. Be brave, everyone.
Hi, I'm Peter Randall, and I'm proud to have been a member of this church for nearly 30 years. I've seen ministers come and ministers go, and each time it's been a challenge for all of us. But there has been one constant, and that is this community of members and friends. We have shed tears of loss, but we have persevered, knowing that this church is more than ministers, more than any one member. Our lay leaders, associates, small group ministry, Reverend Susan's steady voice, and the video Sunday services have kept us together while we have dealt with ministerial loss and COVID. South Church is an important part of our lives. When we are hurting, there are people to support and help us. And those same people are there to share in our successes and celebrations. Our divergent beliefs are supported by our Unitarian Universalist principles that both define us and allow us to follow our own paths of spirituality and growth. Those same principles inspire us to act on our faith in the larger community. As a church and as individuals, our support reaches beyond membership to people and families who need help to seek justice for causes and issues globally and locally. We became members because we believe in this church and what it stands for and does for us as individuals and in the larger community. But nothing we do here as members just happens. We share our thoughts and beliefs, but we also have to share our treasure. Some can give a lot, some can give just a little, but giving is our commitment to what we receive here. Judith and I pledge, please join us.
It is now time for our morning offering. In addition to supporting the good works and operational needs of this congregation, we are sharing our Sunday collections for the month of November with Seacoast Family Promise. Since 2003, Seacoast Family Promise has been serving families in needs from a variety of backgrounds. Its mission is to empower families with children who are experiencing homelessness to achieve sustainable independence through a community-based response. Its vision is of a community in which every family has a home, a livelihood, and the foundation on which to build a better future together. Please give as generously as you are able. The ways you can do so will be detailed on the next screen. And thank you.
Jubilate Deo, Jubilate Deo, Alleluia. Jubilate Deo, Jubilate Deo, Alleluia. Jubilate Deo, Jubilate Deo, Alleluia. Jubilate Deo, Jubilate
I invite you into an attitude of prayer, reflection. I invite you to think about the blue of the sky the last week, the rustling of leaves, the sound of rain and wind the other evening as a storm blew through and made for a chilly, chilly evening. All the blessings that we have that surround us, we are forced to pay attention to in this time of isolation. It really is a beautiful world in which we live. It really is a beautiful time of season with change and transition and the life and the ability to experience the chilliness of the air and the freshness of the day. It really is a blessing to be together. It is so hard to be together in a virtual way. So hard to know what's going on in your lives, to be able to offer support. But I do know, and I want you to know, that we care deeply for one another here, and that we are part of this great, great universe. The blue skies, the falling leaves, the rivers, the rain, the sounds, everything that is around us, we are a part of it. And together, little by slow, we will one day enjoy the pleasure of one another's company. I encourage you to take time to write your concerns in the chat here, your prayer needs. We hold in mind those many people who express to us the illnesses and the concerns and the losses that they have been facing, the uncertainties this last week. Know that you are held in our hearts. Know that we care for you. We are here for you. And we know that you are here for us. Blessings be upon us all. May it be so.
I would like to retell a story originally written by Wendell Berry, who wrote,
I was walking one Sunday afternoon several years ago with an older friend, and we walked by the collapsing and deteriorating log house that had belonged to his grandparents and his great-grandparents. The house stirred my friend's memory as he told how in times past, folks used to visit each other in the evenings, especially those long evenings of winter. There used to be a sort of institution in our part of the country known as sitting till bedtime, my friend said. After supper, when we were not too tired, neighbors would walk across the field to visit each other. They popped corn and ate apples, chatted and told each other stories. They told each other stories as I myself knew they had all heard before, oftentimes more than once. Sometimes they told stories about each other, about themselves, living again in their own memories and thus keeping their memories alive, or about past generations and past family members and thus keeping those memories alive. Among the listener to these stories were the children, my friend said, and when bedtime came, the visitors lit their lanterns and went home. My friend talked about this and he thought about it and then he said, they had everything but money. They were poor as country people have often been, but they had each other. They had their local economy in which they helped each other, and they had each other's comfort when they needed it, and they had their stories, their history together in that place. Their history together in that place. That phrase stuck with me as I thought about today's message and what I might want to share. Though I have only been with you for about 9 months, I have witnessed the many gifts that are brought to each other at South Church. The opportunity for me to get to know your rich history and to be with you as you celebrate one another, and to help with those who had loss and illness, death, and struggles, to watch the way that the staff cares deeply for each other and for you is amazingly tender. I've also had the honor to be with you as you think about replacing the 1,000-pound, $1 million slate roof, and as you have generously pledged to support the long-term mission, goals, and the covenant you have with one another. I am your interim and transition minister, and I am just tickled pink at how bravely this community has faced transition, wrestled with disappointments and frustration at leadership, ministerial and other, and how bravely, wisely, and lovely the board continues to dream big and dares to look at the very core and being of what South Church is, and to think about and grow into being and modeling new ways of structure, governance, and staffing. All this has been a blessing and a gift. And the financial willingness to give and the pledges of support that have been forthcoming, which will allow South Church to be gathered together long into the future, is heartwarming. I am proud to be living and working and being with you during this time of pandemic, when topsy-turvy congregational life has required mind-boggling ways of imagining how to continue to be together and learning through trial and error how to continue to be a community of care and love and compassion. And all the while, generosity, both in financial and other contributions, continue to come in. Each of those gifts is a blessing. The money, the time, your wisdom, your experiences, all help us to continue to weave together the stories of this community. And I am filled with gratitude. And today, this is what I want to reflect on my sermon: gratitude and stories, gifts and blessings. As the Wendell Berry story reveals, there are stories we all tell over and over, and each story reveals the history and passes on experiences and makes memories. Blessings and gratitude, I feel with you as I am here this morning. Now, the best things to be grateful for this time of year remain deeply rooted in our past experiences and in our memories, or at least I find this to be the gift of this particular Thanksgiving time. The memories of family and friends gathered together and the grateful anticipation I and we all share when once again family and friends will be able to join safely for holiday gatherings is a bitter-sweet thought today. However, for this time and this now, we will have to rely on the reliving of memories, hopefully more pleasant than unpleasant, and the telling and retelling of stories. And then one day, long into the future, the next generations will tell of the year when Thanksgiving was not, and was only held virtually or by those sharing the same living space. Strange times. And perhaps, as Wendell Berry suggests, extra joy will be found in telling those stories that have already been told. For isn't it a truth that stories must not slip out of memory, but continue being told over and over, thus keeping the memories of days and times, places and persons alive? Are you ready for me to tell a story from one of my past Thanksgiving? I will always remember the day that the gravy blew up. Well, maybe I exaggerate a bit, but it sure seemed like it blew up. It was one of those hectic Thanksgiving mornings. I had gone to the Garden High School versus Nashua High School football game. Much like in other communities, this was a historic rival football game, and it was the thing one must do on Thanksgiving Day if you were in high school. I returned home to the smell of turkey with stuffing, Grampy Faye's best: celery, onions, apples, sage, and eggs. But my father in his repair vehicle was nowhere to be seen. And I don't know if I really told you this before, but my father was an appliance repair person, and he was the best at figuring out appliances, snafus, ailments, and treatments. So I walked in excited about the game. Gardner had probably won. I was happy when I entered the house. My mother was fuming, and the rest of the kids, my sister and my brother, were quiet as church mice. Grampy Faye, who lived with us, was as he always was when there were domestic squabbles, non-committal, non-involved, and his usual pleasant self sitting at the table playing solitaire. So I approached table setting. That was my usual Thanksgiving Day job. I enjoyed it a lot. I approached it with great vigor, hoping for that opportune moment to breach that chilly silence that was throughout the house and maybe discover what the problem was, maybe even have the ability to soothe the waters. Now, isn't it interesting how we all have our particular tasks within the family system? Mine, as the eldest, was to take charge, to set the table and try to make things right. What was your role and task? And how are you doing this Thanksgiving, this holiday season, in either not being able to get to play out that role or having to play it out yet again, even when you are suffering from COVID burnout? Anyway, back to my story. When I finally got up my nerve and got my mother's attention enough to ask where my father was through clenched teeth and jaw, she shared how a customer of my father's had called because their stove was not working. My father, the ever faithful repairman and generous soul that he was, told the customer that he would be right there. My mother was not happy, to put it mildly. It was his day off, she told him. It is Thanksgiving, for heaven's sake, and we are expecting a house full of guests. Some I like, some not so, and a couple I could care less if I ever see them again. And they will be in here in just a few mere hours. And you are going out to fix their stove. And she continued, let them go to the neighbors or another family members, and you can fix that stove tomorrow. But her arguments were to no avail. And he left promising to be back before our grandparents, cousins, aunts, uncles, neighbors, and friends were due to descend on us, saying, it will be all right. Now, my sister, whose family role was to try to introduce humor into a situation by doing Carol Burnett reenactments, had been banished to the sitting room. Apparently, my mother didn't find her very funny. And my brother, who was pretty young, and whose family role was to disappear, was hiding under the table near Grandpa Fay. As I said, we all have our roles, and just because it was Thanksgiving, and just because it is Thanksgiving, these do not stop. My father's role was to be the ever hopeful, helpful, and giving person, and my mother was to just get on with it and make things happen. Now, when my mother discovered during the cooking and food preparation that our hot water heater was on the fritz, well, you got to know that fur was flying and she was sputtering mad. He finally arrived home. It didn't really take him too long. The customer's stove was repaired, and we kids were a little more talkative, and Mom a tad more relaxed when the heater problem turned out to be a minor adjustment, which she fixed. And then the gravy exploded. Mom was filling the plastic shaker cup with hot water. You may remember them, probably a Tupperware invention. Held about 2 cups of water and had a cover that fit over the top. Mom had added the cornstarch first, probably some flour, salt, pepper, gravy master, and then the hot water. And when she began to shake the cup, well, it exploded all over the kitchen wall, the counter, her new dress. And we all held our breath, wondering what to do and what she would do. First, before I tell you what she did, I have to apologize. I'm sorry, but you all started it. I mean, I did share she was a really bad cook. And once I began to reflect on her cooking, well, those memories just began to pour in. And the exploding gravy episode came to mind at this Thanksgiving season memory. I just had to share it with you. But I do expect you probably want to know what she did. She began to laugh, a hearty belly laugh from somewhere deep, deep inside her, as the whole absurdity of the day hit her, and she laughed and laughed, and she said, well, I never liked to make gravy anyways, and at least we're all together. Let's be grateful for that and for one another, and the hell with the gravy. So like most of you, some of my fondest feelings of gratitude are focused around the gathering together. The gathering together to remember stories and to eat the special dishes reserved only for holiday. Dishes such as tapioca made with large pearls, or suet pudding with sauce, glazed carrots, white pearl onions, bread stuffing, even turnip mashed with butter and salt and pepper, can bring back a flood of memory and warm feelings. But I never make gravy without remembering that explosion of gravy and of laughter as our family gathered together to share blessings, gifts, and gratitudes. So don't forget to share your gifts, count your blessings, express your gratitude today and every day to come. Happy Thanksgiving to you. May it be a blessed day. So may it be.
The earth is a mother, we must take care
care of her. The earth is our mother. We must take care of her. Hey, younger, ho, younger, hey, young, young. Hey, younger, ho, younger, hey, young, young. Her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take, her sacred ground we walk upon. With every step we take. Hey, younger, ho, younger, hey, young, young. Hey, younger, ho, younger, hey, young, young. The earth is our mother. She will take care of us. The earth is our mother. She will take care of us. Hey, younger, ho, younger, hey, young, young. Hey, younger, ho, younger, hey, young, young.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As we end this worship service, I invite you to take what you can out into this world that so desperately needs the expression of thanksgiving and love and laughter. In the next few days, I encourage you to give thanks to all those you come in contact with, the salespeople at the grocery and other stores, the staff at South Church, your co-workers, and most importantly, your children, grandchildren, friends, and loved ones. Make it a habit to thank someone for services rendered, for kindnesses given, and this is what builds and maintains a safe and loving community. It connects two persons, even if we are only connected virtually. It reminds us that we must carry those blessings and we must be gift bearers too. Thank you for being here in all the ways that you are. You are a blessing and a gift to each and every one of us. And now go forth and spread your love all around. The world needs it. It needs our Unitarian Universalist message now more than ever. Go in peace, go in love. Amen.
Walk the world now, children. Walk it now with me. Walk the world now, children. Walk it now with me. Oh, walk the world now, children. Treat it lovingly, and the world will last forever and a day. Drink the water, children. Drink it now with me. Drink the water, children. Drink it now with me. Oh, drink the water, children. Treat it lovingly, and the world will last forever and a day.
are some ways that you can give to South Church. To make your 2021 pledge, fill out and mail your financial commitment form to South Church at 73 Court Street in Portsmouth, or send an email to the Annual Budget Committee Chair, Laurie Bilby, at turningtide@comcast.net. To pay your pledge or to make donations, go to the South Church website, southchurch-uu.org, click on the donate button on the top, and follow the prompts. You can also mail us a check to South Church at 73 Court Street in Portsmouth, noting the type of gift that you are making. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out at 603-436-4762 or by emailing info@southchurch-uu.org.